In the quaint town of Willow's End, where antique shops lined cobblestone streets and whispers of the past lingered in the air, there was one item that drew the attention of every collector: a doll. Not just any doll, but one that was said to be cursed, with a history as dark as the wood from which it was carved. Its name was whispered in hushed tones: Annabelle. Jonathan, a seasoned collector of rare antiques, had heard the legends of Annabelle. It was said that the doll was crafted in the 18th century by a heartbroken toymaker who, in his grief, had called upon forbidden arts to infuse the doll with the spirit of his deceased daughter. Since then, Annabelle had passed through countless hands, leaving a trail of unexplained tragedies in her wake. One rainy afternoon, as Jonathan perused the dusty shelves of his favorite antique shop, he spotted Annabelle sitting atop a faded velvet cushion. Her glassy eyes seemed to follow him, and a chill ran down his spine. Despite the warnings, his curiosity was piqued, and he couldn't resist the allure of such a rare find. He purchased the doll and brought her to his home, a decision he would soon regret. The first night, Jonathan placed Annabelle on the mantelpiece in his study. As the clock struck midnight, he was awakened by the sound of soft footsteps pattering across the wooden floor. He dismissed it as a dream and drifted back to sleep. But the next morning, he found Annabelle had moved from her spot on the mantelpiece to the center of the room. Days passed, and strange events began to unfold. Objects would move on their own, doors would slam shut, and the once comforting silence of his home was now filled with eerie whispers and faint giggles. Jonathan's sleep became plagued with nightmares of a little girl, her eyes hollow, her voice a sinister echo that called out to him, beckoning him to play a never-ending game. Determined to uncover the truth, Jonathan researched the doll's past owners. Each story was more disturbing than the last: accidents, disappearances, and even madness. The common thread was Annabelle, always found at the scene, her porcelain face an emotionless mask that hid her true intentions. One evening, as Jonathan sat in his study, the air grew cold, and the lights flickered. Annabelle sat across from him, her eyes now a deep, abyssal black. The room filled with the sound of a child's laughter, and the doll began to speak in a voice that was not her own, a voice that dripped with malice.
"You cannot escape me,"
she hissed.
"I am bound to this form, but my reach knows no bounds. You are mine now, as all before you have been. Ha 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 ha."
Jonathan realized the gravity of his mistake. Annabelle was no mere doll. She was a vessel for something far more sinister, an entity that fed on fear and suffering. He tried to rid himself of the doll, but it was futile. Annabelle always returned, her presence more malevolent with each attempt. As the days turned into weeks, Jonathan's once vibrant spirit was drained. Friends and family grew concerned, but he could not bring himself to reveal the source of his torment. He was trapped in a waking nightmare, a prisoner in his own home. The final straw came one stormy night when Jonathan awoke to find Annabelle perched on his chest, her hands around his throat. Gasping for air, he struggled against her surprisingly strong grip. In a desperate act, he managed to hurl the doll into the fireplace, where flames quickly consumed her. The room filled with an otherworldly scream as the doll burned, and then silence. Jonathan lay on the floor panting, his heart racing. As the sun rose, he felt a sense of peace for the first time in weeks. The curse of Annabelle was broken, or so he hoped. Weeks turned into months, and life returned to normal for Jonathan. But sometimes in the dead of night, he would wake to the faint sound of laughter, a chilling reminder that some evils never truly die. And so, the legend of Annabelle, the haunted doll with a dark past, continues. She waits in the shadows, her sinister intentions veiled behind painted porcelain, ready to claim the next Unwari Sul who dares to awaken her.
my friends. I've been in this world for more than 200 years, so if you want to see some stories about my former or my next owners, subscribe to this channel to help it grow. And tell me in the comments how you feel right now, as there is a chance I have an answer for you. Oh, also, I suggest you put a like to this video if you enjoyed it, or I will be coming for you.